So we want to record so that those people who are not able to attend today will be able to find out what we talked about and, you know, be able to listen to this later on. So welcome everyone. Let's get started. I know there will probably still be people jumping in, but that's okay. I just would like to start for those who are here so we can be respectful of your time. And I think that there are a number of us on the call who know each other already, but I would love to do just quick introductions of at least some folks. And if you would prefer not to, like Christine, I won't call on you because I know your microphone's not working. If you don't respond, we'll just skip right over you and keep on going, okay? But I would love to just start for, I think I know most of you, but my name is Kate Kirkwood. I'm so excited to be working with Sullivan County as a program manager on this new grant program, and you'll get to hear from me later. So let me turn it over to Derek Ferland.
All right, thanks, Kate. So I'm Derek Ferland. I'm the county manager for Sullivan County. And I'd just like to echo Kate's excitement at the county level. This HUD grant that we received last fall was really the result of a lot of collaboration and partnership across the county, led by the efforts in particular in the city of Claremont of trying to find ways to obtain more focused resources to help us address this problem of lead paint in homes. Unfortunately, being a relatively small rural county, no individual municipality was really going to have the juice to obtain these funds directly from HUD. In the past, typically it's been City of Manchester, City of Nashua, and then a statewide grant. And so by banding together, though, we were able to put together an attractive enough application package that we received the same type of funding that Manchester and Nashua are getting. So we think that's really cool. And it's really it's the first time that that's happened in the state of New Hampshire. So that's really a good thing. But like I said, it's the result of a lot of collaboration and partnership. The county just happens to be really the convener that helped make it all possible. But we've hired some really experienced people, Kate being one of our 2 contractors that's going to be responsible for administering the program. Our lead inspector is also a gentleman by the name of Mickey Lasky, who's got years and years of experience. And so we're really grateful to them because as a first-time grantee, it's important that we execute these funds responsibly. And so part of it is having people that know the system, know the paperwork, know the key players, and can make sure that we can do this correctly. Because if we do, there's a very good chance we'll continue to get more funding down the road. So we really hope this is the first of what will be many, many, many years of getting funded directly from HUD. In terms of the importance of this, so beyond the excitement, there's a couple of very practical considerations of why this is so important for Sullivan County. First of all, the public health aspect and the dozens of young children that get poisoned every year with potentially damage to their bodies that's irreversible. And so the long-term societal generational impacts that has, that's just a tragedy that could be completely avoided. And so this grant is going to help us take concrete steps to reducing the number of times that tragedy occurs in our county. That's a good thing. And secondly, from just a broader economic development aspect, we know how important the quality and availability of our housing stock is to our regional economy. We have a lot of great employers in our area. The one thing that they need to grow is people. And if people don't want to move here because the housing stock is perceived to be either unsafe or of poor quality, that's a problem. And it's a problem, again, that we can fix. And this grant is going to help us take some steps to fix it. So we have a tremendous number of housing units in the county that are built before 1940 and before 1978 even. And so there's a lot of lead paint. So there's a pretty big problem, and we're not going to solve it overnight, not even the next couple of years, but we're going to make a heck of a good head start. And that's what's, the journey of a million steps starts with the first one. This is our first one, and it certainly won't be our last. And so having homeowners come forward to apply is a really big part of this. We will not be able to succeed without you. So I just want to say thanks for dialing in today and working with Kate down the road to get your applications in. And we're looking forward to rolling up our sleeves and getting the lead out. So Kate, I will turn it back
Yeah.
over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Derek. I really appreciate it. I have to tell you that this group has been just amazing to work with. They're excited, they're efficient, they're accomplished. They really made this easy in terms of writing the application and putting the package together. They had already done so much work behind the scenes before I ever got involved that they're ready, and so we're hitting the ground running here. So you'll see a lot of activity, I think, over the next few weeks. Very excited. There are a couple of folks on the call, sort of special visitors on the call that I'd love to introduce. And then I will throw it open to you as property owners to decide if you want to say hello and who you are and where your property is and all that, you are welcome to. If you don't want to, that's fine. I'm happy if you're just here to listen, that's okay too. But I wonder if Beverly, if I could just turn it over to you for a minute to introduce yourself and say what your role is.
Sure. Hi, everybody. My name is Beverly Druin, and I work at Public Health, State of New Hampshire Public Health. I oversee the lead program. So my program does home investigations for families that have children with blood lead elevations. We do the licensing of all the abatement contractors, the inspectors, workers, and we have a full medical team that does case management for all the children that have blood lead elevations. And so when we have children, families that need our help, we refer them to the HUD program. So that's my relationship with Kate and Derek here, is that we refer families into this program.
Thank you very much. And Molly, would you like to say hello and say who you are? Is that okay?
Sure. Thank you, Kate. This is Molly Magoon. I'm an inspector at the US EPA out of Boston, and we cover 6 New England states. For the 2 main lead rules that we enforce are the lead disclosure rule and the renovation, repair, and painting rule. So I'm just a fly on the wall here. It's exciting to see Claremont do what they're doing, and you too, Kate, and Beverly, and if Mickey Lasky's on the line, that ought to be interesting too. Mickey and I go back on a few different issues. So anyway, hello everybody, and thank you.
Thank you so much, Molly. I love it that you take the time to attend these functions. Molly works for the EPA out of Boston. She's got 6 states to take care of, and the fact that she takes the time to come and show a face and have a human connection with such a big agency, I very much appreciate it. Thank you. So I will, at this point, I will ask property owners if anyone would like to say hello and who you are. You are more than welcome. If not, that's okay too. You just unmute yourself and jump right in if you'd like.
I'll go ahead and introduce myself since I'm a newcomer here. So my name is Dana McGrath. I'm actually not a homeowner yet, but I am hopefully closing at the end of February on a home on Broad Street. So very excited. My first single family home. But I'm all about like engaging in the community. So I joined the What's Up Claremont Facebook page, and like followed Sullivan County's Facebook page. So I saw this program and reached out to Kate. So I'm really excited to learn more. So thank you for having the Zoom meeting.
You are more than welcome.
This is Kevin Lacasse with New England Family Housing. We own and manage about 140 apartment units in Claremont. Some of them we've done some lead work on in the past, and quite a few still have work to be done. So I just want to say thanks for putting this grant together, and look forward to hearing more on the call today.
Kevin, yesterday I recorded a presentation for a national HUD conference where we were talking about how to increase a pipeline of property owners in your in your grant program. And I said the best thing is to find people who will write you letters of support before you get funded, and then they're on board for after. And I want to thank Kevin for that. He helped to strengthen our application by writing a letter of support before we ever got funded, saying I'd be interested in working with this program. And here he is, and here we are. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is John Nelson, and this is my partner, Berkeley Heath.
Hello.
And I grew up in Claremont and recently moved back. We just purchased a old historic Victorian on Myrtle Street that has paint inside and out, and we're really excited to get involved with the program. And I also have been working with some of the people in the community for the past few years, and was actually part of the group that got licensed last year through Habitat for Humanity. So I am a licensed lead abatement contractor as well. So probably be working on some homes in the area as well.
Welcome, John. That's great to have somebody that's on both sides of the table, you know, a contractor and a property owner in the community. Great. Anyone else?
I'm Benjamin Hahn. I have a couple of rental properties in Newport, New Hampshire, and I'm also just became a real estate agent. So I'd like to just learn more about, you know, lead-based paint and everything, since we have so many older homes here. I think it'd be good for me to know about it. And I know in one of my properties, the one that I live in, it's a duplex. I do have some lead-based paint on the outside, and figured this would be a good place to come to learn, you know, who I can go to have that taken care of for me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Great. Glad you're here.
Thank
And
you.
last call. Anyone else? Okay. I'm going to be technical here for a minute and pull up a presentation, which I will share with all of you. Nope, that's not what I should. Okay. So again, thank you all for coming, and I'm happy that you're here. So Samantha, just give me, you're seeing the presentation screen, aren't you?
Yeah, we're seeing like your slide and the next
Not
slide.
the screen, not the screen I want you to see. That's okay. I'll just do it a different way. Got it. Okay. So sorry about that. Sometimes things get a little crazy here, but there we go. Okay. So now you should be seeing just an information session green screen. Is that true? Super. Thanks. All right. I'm going to just, you know, move through some pieces of the program. If you are in a situation where you have questions, I'd like you to just hold on to them until I get through the slides, and then I'm happy to answer any questions that you have, or pop your question in the chat. It's possible that Samantha will be able to answer it for me, or she will make sure that I get it and I'll answer it later if you can't stick around. Okay, so who's here? Well, we have property owners. We just saw, we have Derek Furland, who's the project director and also the Sullivan County manager. Sharon, who you can see on the screen, Sharon Cullum, who is the fiscal and procurement officer. And Sharon, if you want to say something, you're more than welcome, but I know last time you said you didn't want to talk. You're good? Okay. Sharon's a really important person to the property owners, because she's the one who handles the money. So that's a really important piece. Nikki Lasky, who I don't know if he's going to join us later or not, lead inspector, risk assessor. We have regulatory folks who you just met. Paul Shalafor got a hold of me a little while ago and was unable to join us today, but sent me some information, which I will share with you. He is the program manager of the New Hampshire Housing Lead and Healthy Homes program. And the reason why we wanted him here is because we have partnered with them to expand our funds a little bit through a loan program, which I'll be happy to tell you about in a bit. So, and then me, program manager, and I can, you know, I think you all have my contact information, but I can also be reached, as can Derek and Sharon, through the Sullivan County website. If you go to Sullivan County, New Hampshire, and search the lead program, it's right there. So I got a bunch of stuff I can tell you about me. I'm a trainer and an author and all that kind of stuff. But the one thing I would love to ask you to do is go, if you get a chance, go to my website, which is leadpaintclearandsimple.com, where there's a 10-minute talk, 12-minute talk on why you should worry about lead poisoning in a new home. We can't talk about that today. I don't have time, and we can't do any money. We can't give you any money for new homes anyway. But I'd love it if you would just listen to that, because it's a piece of the puzzle that people don't think about sometimes, is that we do see children poisoned in new homes as well, because you might bring lead into the house. So that's just something else to look at for you. So when you get a chance. But what we're here to talk about is the problem of lead is something I'm sure most of you know. You understand the problems with reduced IQ, the problems with brain damage, with learning disabilities, that these kids, once they get lead into their system, it very often is permanent. And so the problems carry on not only through their lifetime, but through the society, right? What it costs all of us in terms of these children's health care and lost wages and special education costs, and also what happens to the properties when we're not able to invest in them to improve them. So I would encourage you to think in terms of this program being good for the children, good for the community, good for the housing, and I'll get into that a little bit more in a minute. But I just wanted to start here to remind you what we're doing here and why this is so important. So what do we have? We have about $2 million, just a little under $2 million to make homes safer in Sullivan County. The goal is to inspect 70 homes to identify lead paint and dust hazards. We also have healthy homes money that we can do some other work besides lead. We will abate lead and do some limited rehab in 60 of these homes, maybe more. It depends on the specific costs of each home. We recognize that some that we inspect will either not need the funding or will choose not to take it for whatever reason. So there's a discrepancy in the number we'll start with and the number that will actually finish the program. We will train 20-ish contractors in lead abatement. Again, could be a few more, could be a few less, but we've got some funding to help with that training. We will improve property values. We will create jobs. We'll keep people safe from lead poisoning. And here's the really exciting number. These programs return to the community somewhere between $17 and roughly $200 for every dollar invested in the program. So these programs are just phenomenal in terms of what they do for the community. And I'm excited to be able to share that with Sullivan County. So how will we do it? Basically, we only need two things. Once we have our staff and our team put together, there's only two things we need. We need contractors, and we have quite a few that are expressing interest in the program, and we need property owners. We need properties to work on and contractors to do the work. So that's why you're here. And please share this information with other property owners. What makes for a successful HUD grant program is these two pipelines that we need to keep full, right? We need to always have property owners interested in various stages of getting their work done in their properties. And we need contractors who are doing the work or getting trained to do the work, interested in doing the work. And if we have both of those two things, HUD will keep us supplied with funding and we will keep on working. So very exciting stuff. So people ask about this healthy homes piece. I think everybody knows what lead is, right? But the healthy homes piece, we can include a lot of different things. And here are some examples of the kinds of hazards we can address with this extra healthy homes money. And we have about $5,000 a unit for healthy homes, which is not a ton of money, but it's $5,000 a unit, right? So if you have a two-family, we could spend $10,000, for example, dealing with some of these other issues. And we also can partner with other programs. So we can, once we are working with you, we can help you to know if you qualify for, I don't know, maybe a weatherization program or, a rural development program or some other program. So we can partner and maybe turn you over to a program that has more resources that you can use as well. How does it work? I'm going to start with a single family owner occupied home because I know we have a couple of those folks on the call here. So the first step is you fill out an application, and it does look pretty kind of a little bit, overwhelming when you first look at it. The application, by the way, is live right now on the Sullivan County website. You can go there, click on it, download it, fill it out today. It's a fillable PDF. You can print it or you can fill it out online. And I think it's 19 pages, 18, 19, something like that. So you might kind of, be taken aback a little bit about that, but it's actually not that difficult. And my background, I kind of skimmed through it because it doesn't really matter right now, but I ran another program. I was program manager for a program in a large city for 5 years. And after that, I've been almost 10 years now doing intake with a statewide program. So that by intake, that means filling out these applications. So I'm happy to help you. I'm used to doing it. It's kind of like the difference between doing your own taxes or having a CPA do it. I'm used to doing it. I know which parts we can skip. I know which parts we have to really pay attention to. So let me help you get through that. The application is not as bad as it looks. You need to prove you own the home. That's important, right? A deed, a tax bill, something like that. And then you do the same kind of paperwork really that you would do if you were applying for maybe a second mortgage. Are your property taxes paid? Are your utility bills covered? Give us insurance information, that kind of stuff. And again, most of these are public documents, so I can help you find them and get them as attachments to your application. There's a 10% owner's match. Don't be afraid of that either. We actually have funds to help with that. So it is very likely if the 10% owner's match is a problem for you, it's very likely we can get it covered. So don't let that hold you back, really. We're very fortunate. There are a couple of different programs out there that can help us cover that for you. So don't stress about that. We like to work with properties with kids under 6. That's a kind of an important piece. So if you have kids under 6 that live in your house, no stress, you're all set. If you have kids under 6 that visit on a regular basis, grandchildren, nieces, nephews, neighbors, friends, you babysit for somebody, we want to record that too. That will help. And it just bumps us up on the priority list in terms of what we can do for you. So kids under 6 are a big factor, an important one. You do have to income qualify. You don't have to be real low income. You have to be what we call moderate income. And there's a chart in the owner's application. You can look at it and you'll be able to tell if you meet those income guidelines or not. Basically, for those who understand how this stuff works, you have to be about 80% of the area median income. So that's what we're looking at for the grant program. Now, as I'll explain in a minute, there's also a loan program that we can work with. So once you qualify, you can get up to $12,000 per unit for lead and $5,000 for healthy homes as a grant, straight up grant. You never pay it back. Also, there's a loan program, and this is where we partner with New Hampshire Housing, and they're able to help us make available to you a zero interest deferred loan. And what that means is you never pay it back and there is no interest. You do pay it back, but you never have to make a payment. You pay it back basically when the house is sold. And if that's next year or 20 years from now, it doesn't matter. The loan amount never changes. It's not dependent on your income or your credit score or anything like that. Once you qualify for this program, you qualify for the loan program, as long as there's funding available. And for the loan program, you can make a little bit more. So it's possible that you would not qualify for the grant, but you would qualify for the loan. So if you're 90% of the area median income, you can qualify for the loan program. And that's something I will help you with that. We will do the paperwork here at Sullivan County, but the actual holder of the note would be New Hampshire Housing. And so that's why we would work with them. So you qualify, you fill out an application, and then we meet with you. We inspect the property. Mickey Lasky, who you've all heard about. Lost you for a second there. Hang on, sorry. That's what I get for trying to do 2 things at once here. I was trying to advance my screen. So let's go to where we were. There we go. Okay. You should be back up and running, I hope. No, not that one. This one. Here we go. Okay. So you can actually, we will inspect, we will develop a work scope for you, and we will help you to qualify. And then we hire and we pay the contractors, right? We don't give you any money. We pay for the work to be done. And I think that's an important part, because sometimes people think, oh yeah, I could use $12,000. That's not the way it works. All right. So then let's look at landlords. If you own rental property, whether it's a single family home or a multifamily home, again, the property owner fills out that same application. When you're a property owner and you don't live there, we don't care about your income. It doesn't matter how much you make. But your tenants have to income qualify. More about that in a second. We don't care about your credit score. If you own a 3-family and, you struggle to make it work and, you're worried because your credit score is not good, it doesn't matter. We don't ask. We don't ask anything about the landlord's financial situation. But your mortgages and your utilities have to be current. You can be in a payment plan, but you have to be making those payments, right? We have to see that the property is not imminently in foreclosure, basically. So as long as we know that payments are being made, that the property is in a secure position, it's insured, and you're paying utilities and so forth, then we can go ahead and work with you. And I know sometimes that scares people, so I wanted to make sure to mention that. Same application as we just talked about with the single family homeowner, except you don't have to worry about the income part. However, your tenants must fill out a tenant application, and we can help them too. The same way that we can help you fill out your application, we can help them fill out theirs. And I have another page about tenants in just a minute. As a property owner, you must agree to a 3-year compliance period, which means when we give you this money, you have to promise to follow a couple of rules for the next 3 years. Don't undo the work that we did, right? If we put sheetrock up over a leaded wall, don't rip that down for at least 3 years. So we want to make sure the work that we do is maintained. We want you to hold the property. We're not really in the business of helping folks flip properties. So we expect that you will hold the property for the 3-year compliance period and continue to own it. Things happen sometimes, and obviously sometimes people, their situation changes and they need to sell, and we'll work with you. But our expectation is that you would not sell that property within 3 years, that you will not raise the rent more than 3%. You can raise it a little bit, but we really don't want to fix it up and then raise it beyond what those tenants can afford. That's not the goal either. So, and you must promise to market the property to low, moderate income families with kids. So when you you have a vacancy and you go to re-rent that unit, we don't say you have to rent to a family with kids. If they don't otherwise meet your criteria, then, we're not forcing you, but we're saying you can't discriminate against, right? You must market to low mod income families with children. So once you agree to this 3-year compliance period, you will sign a grant agreement that says you understand that you're getting this money for lead work and healthy homes work. You understand that you don't have to pay it back, but you will be asked every year to sign a letter saying that yes, you're still in agreement with these terms until your 3 years is up, and then you can do whatever you want. We will inspect the property. We will develop a work scope in consultation with the property owner. Obviously, we're not going to dictate what has to happen to your property. You do have, we work with you. You're a part of the team here to make sure that we're happy and you're happy with how the money's being spent. And then we hire and pay the contractors. You can get, again, up to $12,000 per unit, up to $5,000 for healthy homes, and up to $11,000 a unit for this on this 0% interest loan. If it's not owner occupied, you don't have the single family owners. Let me make sure I shared that with you. Single family property owners can get up to $100,000 as a 0 interest deferred loan, as long as they're living in the property. We don't do that with landlords. Landlords can get up to $11,000 per unit. And again, Paul is not with us, but I have a bunch of information from him, and I'm happy to put you in touch with him if you need to talk with him. I want to take a minute here to talk about property owners under order. And if you don't know what that means, good. You're fine. What happens if a child has been poisoned that lives in one of your apartments, and the state has determined that the child has an elevated level, they've paid you a visit, they've determined that there are hazards in your building, you have then an order to abate. The state requires you to abate the property. We're happy to deal with property owners under order. In fact, we want to, because we want to help you. We know that these are situations where, our money is needed and our help is needed, and we're happy to do that. I just want to be clear with the rest of the folks that a property does not have to be under order to come through the Sullivan County led program. We're happy to work with anyone who would like to be proactive and get out there and do the work ahead of time. But in the case where a property is under order, that's fine. We're happy to help. with the laws that are changing in New Hampshire, landlords who might feel like, oh, well, that's not me. I don't have any problem. I'm not under order. You want to be careful because many more properties will be coming under order soon in New Hampshire and are right now going under order because the way the laws have changed, we are testing many more children than we used to. You know, in order for a property to go under order, a child has to be identified as having an elevated blood lead level, being lead poisoned in that apartment. Well, a couple of years ago, we were only testing 20% of our kids in New Hampshire. So not that many kids were getting tested, right? 1 out of 5. So not that many kids were were getting the levels, we weren't getting that data and those properties were not getting put under order. But now with our new law that passed a couple of years ago, Senate Bill 247, we are testing every child at age 1 and age 2 at their well child visit. So if you're a landlord and you've got apartments that you're thinking, well, I've had kids in those apartments for 30 years and I haven't had any trouble. Well, trouble you know, might be at your door any minute now because those children, those families who never were tested before may be getting tested, any minute when they go to their well child visit. And then you be getting one of those letters saying, hey, someone who lives in your building has tested above the level and we'll be paying you a visit. Also, we are dropping the level we consider poisoned. And so it doesn't, the numbers don't really matter if you're not familiar with the lead world, but we test blood, we test a child's blood and we determine how much lead is in their blood. And so, when I started in this business, it was 20, right? There was a level of 20 considered poisoned. A few years ago, it dropped down to 10. And then in 2019, it dropped down to 7.5. July of this year, it drops down to 5. So children who were not considered poisoned before are going to be now. So a property owner might have tenants or children in their building. They don't even know their lead level might be 6 or 7. If they were tested today, they're not considered poisoned, but in a couple of months, they will be. So your liability as a landlord is definitely increasing. Depending on how you look at this, that's a bad thing. Maybe if you're a landlord and you're worried about it, it's a great thing for those of us who are worried about the kids, right? We're testing the kids and we're finding out who needs our help and hopefully we're getting those children while their levels are still low enough that we can help them before they have some permanent injuries and permanent brain damage. So get proactive, landlords. That's all I can say. Get proactive. If you're not under order, great. You don't want to be under order, right? It's a lot calmer if you're not. I mean, I love my friends at the state, but it's a lot calmer if you don't have them sort of, chasing you with timelines and paperwork and deadlines, and you can just take care of your properties proactively yourself, and we will help you. So the costs, if you were under order or you had a property and you suddenly had to go in and do a lead inspection, we call it a lead inspection risk assessment, because once it's under order, particularly, it's a very extensive investigation. You have to go through not just a lead inspection, but dust wipes and soil samples and a work scope is developed. And here's how, the abatement rules we have to follow to get this work done. That inspection alone might cost you between $1,500 and $2,000 per unit, right? So if you had a 10-unit building, you could spend $20,000 just on inspections. You haven't done any work yet. And then HUD says on average, you can assume it will cost you $10,000 a unit to abate. So if you have a 3-family property, you might spend $4,500, $5,000, $6,000 on inspections, and then you might spend another $30,000, $35,000 on abatement, and you haven't done the outside yet. It could easily run you $50,000, and I would be willing to bet that most, small landlords that have a 3-family building, a 5-family building, they don't have a spare $50,000 sitting in the bank for this kind of a problem. So we're here to help with that. We will do properties under order or not, but I would encourage you not to wait. Let's get proactive about it. You don't want to be under order. Now, if you're a tenant, or those of you who have to talk to tenants about this, the landlord asks them to fill out an application. Theirs is a little bit, it's a little bit less because they don't have to do all the, mortgage and all that kind of stuff, but they do have to provide their income. So they have to say who lives in the house and how much money do they make, because this is based on their income. I was saying earlier, HUD doesn't care that much about the financial situation of the landlord, but they sure do care about who lives in the house, who are the people that we're helping. So they want to know, are there children under 6? What are the blood lead levels of those kids? And how much money does the family make? If the family makes too much, we will not be able to give you funding for that unit. So this is something we can talk about and see. Like I said, they don't have to be real low income. And we can't just take an estimate. We need paycheck stubs, tax returns, that kind of stuff. And if there are children under 6, we need their blood lead level, or we need parents to say in writing, no, I don't want to give you that information because it's a private medical matter. They don't have to give it to us. So we will ask you for this information. We will help explain to your tenants why we need it, and we'll help you to get the information from them. And there are lots of different ways we can explain to them what we need and why. And in some cases, things get complicated. People are self-employed and they have different income sources. We can work through all of that. We've been doing this a long time. We know how to make it work. So healthy homes, we ask the tenants to tell us, what do they notice? Are they cold in the house? Do they see evidence of pests? Are they worried about mold growing in their bathroom or anything? We can deal with a lot of different things besides lead. So this is why it's exciting to work with tenants, because we really can make their property safer and in many ways nicer for them. So I'm gonna talk about investors for a minute. Now regulatory folks you don't have to listen to this part. We're not about helping people make money, but it happens that way sometimes, right? So I'm an MBA. I taught college business courses for 30 years before I got involved in lead. So I know that investors really make this program work. It's about money. Show me the money. Where else can an investor get 0% loan money? Or grants? Or deferred payment? By the way, not only are we going to give you the money at 0%, but you don't have to pay it back until you decide to sell the property. This is an amazing opportunity for investors. And we don't talk about that much in the lead world because we like to think, oh, we're doing this for, the good of the children and the good of the community. And we don't think about private business people making money. But the reality is they do on both sides of the fence. Contractors build big business doing this with us sometimes and do very well. And investor property owners can do very well also. So that's not a problem as long as we crunch the numbers and we make sure it works for everybody. Obviously, I can help you do that and we can look at it. And obviously this can work for an investor who gets essentially rehab work done that they don't have to pay for now. They might have to pay for it later. So I encourage investors, don't be afraid of this program. Take a look at it, get educated, get certified. There's free training available. We call it lead abatement, but many of you would call it rehab. Right? And it's not just rehab, it's a special kind of rehab called lead abatement, but look at the kind of things we do. These are the same kinds of things that you do and you pay to do it. Why not do it on our money? Why not let us replace the windows and do the vinyl siding and do the baseboard and then you have money left to, I don't know, add a washer and dryer or pave the parking lot or whatever else there is that needs to be done on your properties. We can improve properties for the community as well as for the individual investor and the individual homeowner. All right, so what's the catch? There's a catch. It's not all easy. I want to be really upfront with you about this. I'm a landlord too, so I get this. One of the things that's a little difficult sometimes is relocation. People cannot be in the building while we're doing this work. We can't. We have to put them somewhere safe. The property owner is ultimately responsible for making sure that we have a safe place to put these folks while the work is being done. But we have money. We have money in our budget to help you with that. And I don't know what that will look like yet. We have to look at it on a case-by-case basis. Maybe you have a vacant apartment that we can set up and we can rotate people through that. Or maybe we end up with hotels. I don't really know yet. It depends on your situation. But I'm good at this and I can help you with this. So we'll make this work. The other catch is you can't do the work yourself with these funds. Often we will have a property owner who says, I'm a contractor or I do all my own maintenance, so pay me and I can make this work. We can't do that. HUD sees that as a conflict of interest. A separate contractor must be hired to do this work. So maybe you have a separate company that you work with and we can work through them. Maybe we put it out and to bid and there's blind bids and maybe a company that you have an interest in might still win the bid, but we can't guarantee that. And we can't sort of bend the rules to make that happen. So talk with me about it. No promises. We'll do the best we can to work with you. One key is you have to be a state of New Hampshire abatement certified contractors. That means you've taken a 3 or 4 day class. Many people say, oh, I've taken that 1 day lead class, I'm certified. Yeah, that's called RRP, and that's great, renovate, repair, and paint. You need that too, but that's not enough for this program. So if you're not abatement certified, talk with us. We have funds to get you certified. There's lots of classes around the state we can connect you with, and we can get that work done. But you need that certification, anybody who's doing work. So if you have a contractor you like to work with, you say, hey, why don't you get in this program and then you can bid on our property or whatever, great, but they need that certification first. Another sort of catch for property owners maybe is you have to disclose what you know. And that's what Molly was saying earlier. This is what EPA does, right? Federal disclosure. If you know there's lead in the building, you must tell your tenants and you must tell anybody who's prospective purchase of this. You're going to sell the building at some point, you have to let them know that there's lead there and where it is. So once we do an inspection for you, which we do the inspection for free, right? You don't pay for it. But once we do the inspection for you and we provide you with a copy of that inspection, now you know. Now you must disclose. And the fines, if you don't, are very steep. So you need to know that this could be perceived as a downside by a landlord, right? And then the last thing, and this is true for all the people, all the property owners on the call, whether you're a single family home or an investor, we're not remodeling. That's not the purpose of this program. Maybe it'll be nicer when we're done, but that's not the goal. The goal is safer, right? And so we would hope that we're going to be able to make you very happy with the end result. And you're going to love the property when we're done, but that's not a guarantee. What's a guarantee is the lead hazards will be gone, permanently covered or removed. So we will work with you to try to make it, to make everyone happy with the end result, but it's not a remodeling program. That's really not what it's about. I will say this much and then I'm done and I'll take questions. When this program works, it works for everybody. This is an amazing program. When the pieces come together, contractors in the community get more work. Communities get to improve their tax base and reduce the number of vacant and derelict buildings because we can fix them up. We create safe and affordable housing in the community. Landlords get help, maintaining and improving the properties. Single family homeowners get improvements they might not be able to afford. I mean, up to $100,000 in zero interest money. I mean, we can really help a property owner take good care of their property and make it safe and also more comfortable for them to live in. Tenants get a safer place to live. Kids get a safer place to live, and that's really the most important thing. And all of us benefit from that. So I'm happy to take questions now or later. This is the contact information for everybody that we've talked about in our program on our team here. You can certainly call one of us or text us or email us later, but also I'm happy to take questions now. And this recording will be up on the Sullivan County website tomorrow. So people will be able to come and listen to this presentation. So who's got questions?
Hi, Kate. Just a question here regarding the tenant certification. So that's done on an annual basis?
You mean income?
Income, yeah.
Nope, only once.
Oh, okay. And then for 3 years, just any new tenant that comes in?
They don't
Would-
actually, yeah, we don't actually even check that. All we ask is that as part of your compliance, you sign a document saying that you are marketing to low, moderate income families with children. We don't actually check their income.
Okay. All right. And then the rent increases, so it's capped at 3% per year for the compliance period?
No,
Or
for
it's
the entire compliance period.
higher compliance. Okay.
Yeah, so make sure your rents are at a place that you're comfortable with before you come into the program. Don't come into the program assuming that you'll raise them because you won't be able to.
Okay.
For 3 years. I mean, you can, but only 3% over the whole 3 years.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, that was a little bit confusing to me too, that it looked like on the application that we would need to verify income for 3 years afterwards. And so I was kind of, wasn't
Yeah,
sure.
that's not a requirement. We only ask you to sign a statement saying that you are marketing to low mod income families with housing, and that's a fair housing regulation. We determine that you have income qualifying tenants when we first come in, and we really don't have the ability to track it after that. It just gets too cumbersome. We know that it was that the property was available to low mod income families. We know you're marketing to low mod income families. And honestly, we've found that in many cases, that's neighborhood dependent anyway. It's either there's a market rent in your neighborhood and that's what you're going to be able to charge realistically.
And then I had another question. We have a little bit of a unique situation because we bought a multifamily house that is under order for lead abatements, but we also live here in one of the units right now. So I'm just not sure, what we would qualify as far as, I guess the big difference was the 0% interest loan. And it's also currently designated as a single family because it's under order.
I understand. So the maximum 0% interest loan is much higher for a single family, right? You can get up to 100,000. So unless you had some reason to want to revert to a multifamily, I would think through the process of working with us, at least, you would want to keep it single family, which is also what you need to stay in compliance with the state, right?
Well, it's not that it's a single family, it's that it's a multifamily with vacant units. So,
Oh,
so
got you.
it's still a multifamily. It's just we're an owner occupied multifamily with vacant units.
I understand. So your zero interest loan max would be 11,000 a unit.
Okay.
Yeah. Was that the question, or was there something?
Yeah, that was the
Yeah, that was
question.
pretty much it, I
Like,
guess.
just which one do we fall under?
Yes, yeah, it would be 11,000 per unit for however many units you have.
Okay.
You have a question in the chat.
Thank you. Can you tell me what it says?
Yep. The question is, how long does it take to start once we have applied with the documents?
That's a big question, isn't it? I would say, so when you have an application that's been approved, right? We've checked your income, all that kind of stuff. It's been approved and we're ready to go. You'll have an inspection within a couple of weeks, I would say, and then a contractor bid walk another couple of weeks after that, assuming it, takes a little bit to choose the contractor, 60 days or so after your application is approved. Before work is actually starting, is that what you meant? So
That's not someone that we've heard from verbally, so I don't know if they can or not. It's
okay. Yeah, hopefully that's, and she can pop in the chat if there's any other questions, but hopefully that's the answer. So before work is actually being done, I would say about 2 months, but maybe a little less. It depends on, it depends on a lot of things, how quickly we get tenant information back, all that kind of stuff. Anything else?
I had a quick question. As far as like when you apply for the program and you're approved, like if they come in and inspect it, they find lead, like they're going to continue with the work, right? It's not like, oh, we found lead and then you're not approved for the program and then you like have to disclose that there's lead now and then you deal with the abatement. Like, I guess I'm just a little concerned about that.
Dana, right?
Yes.
Dana, I totally get it. No, we want to help you because there's lead.
Right. Okay.
We like the lead.
Okay.
We want the lead. Yeah. So yeah, no problem. And actually
Okay.
no work would start until after the inspection is over anyway.
Okay.
So from
Perfect.
the inspection, we develop a work scope.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Sure. Anybody else? Smith, anything? Go ahead.
Do you have online the charts for income restrictions and all that?
Yes, right now, if you go to the Sullivan County website and you'll see a tab at the top for programs, and then you'll see the lead hazard control and healthy homes program. And then you'll scroll down to the owner section and it will say, click here for an owner application, and that has the income charts right in it. And I'm happy to answer any questions you have about that. And remember, this has nothing to do with you as an owner unless you are also a tenant. We don't care about the owner's income unless they're also a tenant, an occupant.
Okay, I am also a tenant in mine.
Okay.
Another question about that is the the lead paint that I am aware of is on the outside of the house on the porches. I've disclosed it to my tenants because I got one of those little kits and tested it. But when that is being remediated, do we have to leave the house since it's purely on the exterior?
It really depends on the situation. We would have to look at it. The short answer is probably not. As long as there's what we call a safe passage, as long as there's a way that we can get you in and out of the building safely without having, to pass through the area where we're creating lead dust, as long as the windows are closed, all that kind of stuff. It really depends on the situation. We would prefer not to have anybody in the building, but we'll have to work with you private, each individual case. We certainly can't do any work on the interior when you're there, but sometimes exterior work can happen when folks are there. Sorry, I'd be
Okay,
more
thank you.
specific. I can be more specific if we talk privately or if I come see the property.
Sure. Yeah, I'll give you a call sometime.
Great. My contact information is all on the Sullivan County website as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Last call. Anybody else?
Just one more question about tenant relocation. You said something about a safe house or something like that you guys available. Is it several units or how does that work?
Yeah, typically, I mean, we're still figuring that out because it really is dependent on the project, right? So if we had, say in Claremont, enough units where it made sense, we would rent an apartment or a couple of apartments just to cycle people through. And we would, keep them cleaned and all that kind of stuff. But we might not if it didn't make sense, like if we couldn't, there people live too far away, then we might do hotels or something. So it's kind of a case by case basis, but we have funds to cover the cost of that.
Okay, thank you.
So in a situation like yours, Kevin, we might even find that you had a couple of apartments that we could use, that the program could use, that were close to the ones we were working on, and people could cycle through, and then the program could pay you rent for those or something. We can talk about that.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
I just had one more quick question too. This is Dana again.
Of course.
So obviously, because I don't own the home yet, is there a certain time frame that this application period is open for new home buyers in the area?
Until we run out of money.
Okay. Good answer. Got it.
Depends on how fast people come to the table.
Okay.
No, we have, so this is supposed to be a 3.5-year program. My best guess, the way things are looking, I bet we're going to run out of money in 2 years. That would be my guess. But you've got a few months anyway.
Perfect. Thank you.
Sure. Anybody from Beverly or Molly or anybody from Sullivan County want to chime in at all here before we let people go?
I don't know that I have anything to add. I think you did a really comprehensive job. I'm psyched that it's getting started. I'm very excited about that. I don't know if anybody ever have questions of me, feel free to call me at Public Health about your property under order, about your children who have elevated blood leads, or anything.
Beverly, would you put your contact information in the chat?
I can.
That would be great, actually, if you don't mind, just in case somebody wants to have a contact at the state. That's sometimes an important thing.
Yeah, no problem at all.
Kate, another question.
Go ahead, Ben, and then Molly.
Okay.
Is it okay if I call you right after this? I have a couple
Absolutely.
of questions I'd like to ask privately. Okay.
Yeah. Give me 15 minutes or so after we're done here, and then sure. Molly,
Sure,
I'm
thank you.
sorry.
Hi, I'll put my contact information in if anyone has questions about lead disclosure rule or the RRP rule.
Thank you so much, Molly.
Yep.
Wow, you all going to be glad you got here today, right? You have a contact at the state and a contact at EPA.
I had a question about the you mentioned earlier the 10% owner matching and how that there are some funds available for that, and so
Yes.
just speaking to people in the community about this program, I could see how that would be an issue. So do you mind just getting more into that?
No, I don't mind getting more into it, but I'm not sure how far along we are in some of these negotiations. I don't know, Derek, are you still on the call? He may not be, I'm not sure. He may have been called away. So we're looking into other funding sources that the county has that will be able to help folks with the match. Also, that 10%, I mean, that zero interest loan money that I talked about from New Hampshire Housing, that can be used as match. Yeah. So we have two sources, basically, one that we know for sure we have, which is that New Hampshire Housing loan money, and the other one, which we're working on, which is a county-based tax credit drive, and we'll see how that plays out. But I'm pretty confident that we're going to, I mean, we already have some money, and I'm pretty confident that we're going to have enough, that it's not going to be an issue. But let's keep in touch privately about that. Also, and in your case, I think you have another funding source, right? That we talked about, that we can use anything, as long as it's not federal money, we can use other like charitable sources from the community. So, so we've got a lot of support and a lot of people interested in this program. I feel pretty confident that nobody is going to be turned away because they can't make the match happen. That was an important part of what Claremont and then Sullivan County wanted to do right from the beginning, was not force people into that 10% match. So I'm pretty confident we can do it.
Kind of piggybacking on that too. So if as a first time home buyer, I'm also eligible for like the New Hampshire tax credit, would that default me from being able to be the 100% zero deferred, 100, whatever it is, the 100% zero deferred loan? Like, would that not allow me to qualify for that?
I don't think that has any impact, but let me look at that privately with you. Submit your application. Are you working on an application?
I will once I close, because I need that proof of ownership.
You know what? Even if you haven't closed yet, fill out the parts you can.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And yeah, and just shoot me an email.
Yeah.
And let me work with you on that, because I don't think it's a problem at all, but I just need to make sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Sure. Is that everything? I think if anybody did not get a question answered, please reach out to me afterwards, and I'm happy to talk, and I'm so excited that you're all here. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to call it done then. Thank you very much, everyone. Appreciate your time.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Okay.
Have a good night.
Good night.